Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Makes Up. I am so excited. This just arrived, so I wanted to sit down and quickly make a video for you. It is so beautiful. Let me first show you the box the palette comes in. So this is Dior's holiday graphic that they're using. That's a design, and so a number of the holiday items will come in a box like this. And their what is it, advent calendar, that's also available to order off of their website. It includes 24, I'm just reading off of the site, 24 Dior surprises. Beauty advent calendar includes, in this calendar, you can get fragrance, makeup, and skincare. And it's just this design, but more elaborate, and it looks really pretty. I think it could just be like wallpaper on an accent wall. The actual palette itself, and I don't know if you can see, I'm going to cover this reflective part here, this etching or embossing. And once you open up, you have the mirror and the shadows. And I love this color story. It is a, neutral color story with a pop of color here, and I think that's great. It's going to be easy for anybody to get into to use. And then you have a holiday shimmer. How could you not have some shimmer for the holiday? Yesterday I just reviewed Byredo's new eyeshadow palette, Boots in the Snow. A lot of you had commented, being uncertain about that chunky silver glitter shade, and it's still on my vanity, so I'll just show it real quick, this shade here. Well, the shimmer shade from this palette is chunky as well, but not quite the same level as the one from Byredo. So might be more of interest to you guys, and it does come with this kind of long, well, it's basically two of the short brushes that come with the Quints, but now they've kind of attached them together to make it this double-ended brush. So the eyeshadows have a shelf life of 6 months, which is, classic for Dior, and they are made in France. In addition to that, I did use a code that Dior gave me and received this, pink pouch. And the zipper has the name Dior on it. So now I got another makeup pouch to use when I'm on the go, but I do have a soft spot for this, baby pink, this pastel pink here. I will share those codes below, and I don't know if they have an expiration to them. Is it good for the rest of this month, next month? I'm not sure, but if you do plan to order off of Dior's website, I would definitely try those codes. It doesn't hurt. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. And I also want to thank Ting, who is my friend here on, actually we talk on Instagram, but I think she watches my videos as well. She shared with me a code she used, which I will also share below. So thank you, Ting, for giving me a heads up. I'm not sure what gifts you get from her code, but I think you guys should just play around and see what's being added to your cart when you put the codes in. There are a ton of Dior holiday releases. They staggered it maybe like a week and a half to 2 weeks apart, but it's kind of overwhelming, and I'm even thinking of doing some kind of like Dior purchase guide or something, because I'm also trying to figure out what from this collection I'm going to get besides this palette here. Along with the palette, there's also a bigger version of this. Well, I shouldn't say a bigger version, but it's a bigger palette that looks like this with the embossing here. And in the palette, it has a Quint. I'll have a picture above, as well as a all-over face powder, 2 blushes, and 4 lipstick colors. I mean, it's beautiful. I didn't opt in to get that because I knew I wasn't going to use any of the lipstick shades. But it's kind of a steal, I must say. So all that was, or is, priced at $115 US. And if you think about just a Quint is $65, and a face powder, like if it was the Dior Powder No Powder, I mean, what is that? Around the same, like maybe 75. So yeah, you get all of that for 115. Definitely some great gifting ideas. This is $65 US as well, which is the same price as the Quints, but it does come in this really nice compact. It is really, really beautiful. You can see the embossing better on Instagram on my photo and in my reel, so you can go check that out if you can't really see everything too clearly on camera here because it's sort of reflective. And if anybody's wondering, this is not made of real leather, it is leatherette. So it looks very luxe and it does have some weight to it. When you touch it, you can instantly realize this is leatherette. So, if that's of interest to you, just thought I'd put it out there. So why don't we go ahead and do some swatches here? And I'm trying to think, I don't think this color story is all that similar to any of the existing Quints. There might be a shade, and I'm thinking this shade specifically, from the Copper Quint that might be similar. I'll take it out. We'll do some of those swatch comparisons at the end. So let me just swatch this first. So start with the 4 shades. I have first the matte brown, and don't mind this. It's pretty typical of any really creamy shadows that I go into. I do put in some pressure, and typically, there's some flaking or fallout. Let me clean that off. And then we have the kind of pop of color, bit of this coppery shade here. And then also this brown tone, kind of satin, satiny shade that has some gray in it, I feel like. Followed by a lid topper shade. It's very, very light. So that's 2 application. And all these shadows, they feel great. I think they're gonna blend well, they're gonna go on the lid well and blend well. And then finally we have the glitter shade. And what I've noticed about the glitter shade is this texture you're seeing is like a spray on. Once you get into it, underneath that first layer, it's really a lot smoother. I mean, it is still glittery and you can definitely, see it. I can see the texture, but it's smooth. It's like smoother than what it appears to be. And I think that spray on just gives it more like wow factor when you open up the palette. So with the swatches done, I'm going to go ahead and create a look with this. Taking the shade here and placing that all over the lids. And it is pigmented. It is a pigmented shade. Look at that. So I'm going to blend it out, buff it out some more. Next, I'm taking this shade here and I'm placing that on the lash line and blending it towards the middle of the lid. Then taking this deep brown here, this matte shade, I am using that to deepen the outer corners. And I'm also going to bring this color on the lower lash line. The look is getting pretty deep here, but we'll lighten it up really quickly. Then going in with, I'm just going to try with my finger with this lid topper. I'm adding that on the middle of the lid. And just lighten everything up. So you can see with 2 applications just how light you can make that look. It was very intense when I just applied this, but now it's lined up and this looks become, more daytime like. I'm also applying the same shade onto the inner corners, that lid topper shade. And because this is a demo, we're gonna go into that glitter shade. I'm gonna use a finger and I'm adding that to the center, which is the obvious place to put it. And you definitely don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it instantly just lights up everything. and can be used to give you even more dimension in your look as well. So there it is. Let me replicate this on the other side, then we'll come back for a lip color. I already have a cheek color on today from Westman Atelier. This is Minette. I actually had my makeup done for work today, came home, took the eyeshadow off to create this. So my makeup is not the freshest. It's not as if I'm just, you know, putting it on before the video, but I think it looks okay. My natural oils have come through. It's been, what is it, 9 hours at this point, and I think it's held up well, decently, the foundation, which is Merit's Minimalist foundation, or I should say complexion stick, which doubles as my concealer and foundation. So yes, let me do that and we'll come back. For lips, I'm gonna go with Suku's Sheer Matte Lipstick, shade 102. And I'm just going to add some bronzer here, just to freshen up, kind of bring the shine down a little bit, at least from the sides of the cheek. And because my natural oils have come through quite a bit, I'm not going to put on any highlighter. I'm pretty happy with how glowing I look. So I really, this is a really quick look here. I do love this shade, and all the shadows are just so easy to work with. If you guys saw my Byredo video of Boots in the Snow, you notice that, you know, one of the shades didn't work so well. The others were great, but one shade didn't work so well. But here, everything is beautiful. It's just like the Quints, maybe even in some ways better than the Quints because of how consistent all 5 of these are. There's no surprises here. And again, the pop of color, I always like that. You've got something fairly neutral and then they give you a little bit more color. I could have just centered my look around the more neutral colors and then just added this as like an accent, or maybe added as a shade on top of my lash line, but I just wanted to try out, you know, what we could get, and I was inspired by the Suku lipstick shade that I wanted to try, so I think this ties in nicely together. Let me take out my Copper Quint and we'll do some swatch comparisons. This is the Copper Quint, and the shade of interest for comparison is going to be this one here. So let me just hold the two up. Let's go ahead and do the comparison. This is from the Copper Quint, and this is from the Ecrin Couture palette. They're both very creamy and pigmented, but there is a difference. I think this is warmer and more intense in the payoff, whereas this one is just a bit lighter. It's still really pigmented, but it's just a bit lighter. I feel like this one has more red. I think this one has more red and this one a little bit more brown. And because we're at it anyways, I'm gonna also swatch this matte brown. This is from the Quint, and this is from Ecrin. The two to me look very similar. I want to say this one here. I want to say they're the same shade. They both feel pretty much the same. I mean, if there is a difference, I can't even tell. If there's a difference, this one might have a bit more red, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the same. I think this Copper Quint has similar vibes, similar idea, especially pairing these two, that matte deep brown and the copper shade that has some red is very similar to these two here. And for the last portion, I do want to go into the website description a bit because they describe what this is, as well as the whole holiday collection theme. So it says on the website, to celebrate the holiday season, Dior created an eye makeup palette housed in a couture inspired case. The palette's embossed case is inspired by the facade of the iconic Dior boutique at 30 Avenue Montaigne. A gold lever topped with CD initials for Christian Dior reveals the content of the makeup palette. This palette includes 5 eyeshadows and 1 double-ended applicator. This makeup palette is presented in a giftable box featuring the signature blue and gold motif from Dior's Atelier of Dreams. So the Atelier of Dreams is the holiday theme this year for the brand. Very, very pretty. If you have the copper quint, I don't think you need this palette, but I think a lot of us who got this, myself included, we just really, I mean, this is gorgeous. We kind of want the experience of this package, and it is a beautiful color story, but I must say this shade here is pretty much very similar vibe, and especially the inclusion of this matte brown here, which I do think they're the same. I think it's the same as this one. Just kind of it's the same idea. So just the color story alone, you're not really getting anything, a breakthrough, you know, that's going to be so different from what's available in the quint. Although I do think the copper quint is limited edition, and I haven't checked on the website, on Dior's website, if it's sold out. So if it is sold out and you do like this shade, and this is from the quint, you can get something similar from this palette. So there is that as well. This is my review and quick demo of the palette, and I like to revisit this palette and try it out a couple more times and spend a little bit more time on the looks, because today I just didn't have enough time to like go in for more details. So I really do want to try that out. But what I did is, after I finished the look, I went to go have dinner and then came back. It's been about 2 hours since, and the shadows are still, you know, they haven't necessarily faded. It's still looking good. These shadows are, you know, definitely what we've come to expect from Dior in terms of quality and wear. So that I do like. And if I had to pick 1 or 2 really standout points or attributes of the palette, it's going to be 1, the packaging. I've talked a lot about that. And 2nd is going to be this shade here. This is really pretty as well, but it's not a must. And if you're not into that glitter, I think you'll still get a lot out of these 4 shades. But I feel like when it comes to holiday, you know, we're always expecting some glitter, or we always see some glitter in a color story. Let me know below what you think of this palette or any of the Dior holiday items. I am seriously thinking of doing just like a Dior holiday buying guide, because I want to find out for myself once again, is like, what from the holiday collection do I want to try? Along with this palette and the bigger version of it that has 2 blushes, 5 lip colors, and all over face powder, and a quint inside it. Dior just released 2 more holiday quints that are just totally separate, and they come, you know, in the classic quint compact, and I'm looking at those. I will have links below for you guys to look at, and see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.